तब देखते रहना जब मैं नेक्स्ट करूं तो ठीक है डन फाइन Hi everyone, good morning everyone here. Good morning. So today we are going to start the new topic, that is your redemption of debentures here. Please stop talking right now. Okay. Now, redemption of debentures. You all know that what is the debentures here? All definitely you have seen such kind of thing in the last classes, few 2-3 classes here. Right now, debenture is basically a kind of debt instrument. Suppose, let's say in future you are going to start your own business, and now you need some kind of capital. After certain few years down the line, let's say after 5 years or 10 years down the line, there are a lot of alternatives through which you can raise the funds from the market. There are equity, there are preference share, there are debt capital, or there are, you can say, some kind of loan from the banks. Now, if I'm saying here, you have already raised the equity from the market. Let's say there is a one option. The second is you already raised the capital from by issuing preference share in the market. You have already done that. Now the third part is here. You can say later on you realize that we need to issue some kind of debt in the market. That means your debentures. Debenture, it kind of loan instrument where we are going to issue some kind of security, and then we are going to generate the funds from the market, and that we call it, and this instrument we call it here debentures. It kind of debt instrument here. So we have seen in the 12th class also debentures wala part. Now, so we all know that the debenture is basically, there is some kind of features here. There is a coupon rate. Coupon rate, it means here, so at the end of the specific period of time, we need to provide the interest rate to the debt holders. Let's say I'm the company, I'm going to issue some kind of debt instrument in the market. So now, if you are going to subscribe, if you are going to buy my bonds from me, then later on in future, I'm going to pay some kind of interest to you. Let's say 5 years down the line, 5 years is the maturity date for these debentures. So at the end of the 5th year, I'm going to repay installment in terms of, you can say, your interest amount and plus some kind of maturity period ke time pe I need to repay your principal amount. So that is what the redemption of the debenture. Redemption of debenture, it means, let's say there is a debenture 5 years down, aapko redeem karna hai at the end of the 5th year. So at the end of the 5th year, so I will pay your whole amount, jo aapke principal amount hai, and last few years I'm already paying your interest rate, jo aapka hota hai at the rate coupon rate. So this is what your debentures here, and this is what we call it redemption of debentures. We all know that. Now, अब redemption of debentures समझ आ गया कि redeem करना है. Now we need some kind of funds. अब होता क्या है, there are company, there are a lot of options. Like you can say they are going to pay lump sum amount of money, then they are going to convert into some kind of other securities. Let's say in terms of equity. Please don't talk. Now next slide, please. Now here, repayment of loan due on the debentures of the bonds. You all know that due date, it means a maturity date of the instruments. Which instrument I'm talking about here? The instrument is your bond or debt. Here, done? Is there any doubt up to this point? We all know. Next slide, please. Here, the methods of the redemption. Definitely by payment in one lump sum payment. At the end of the maturity period, you are going to one-time payment to the debt holders. Jo bhi repayment amount hai. So this is what the one option here. Then second option is by means of annual installment or by draw of lots. Like let's say, like suppose you are going to raise some kind of funds from the bank. Bank क्या बनाता है? They are going to collect some kind of EMI, जो आपकी installments होती हैं. That over the period of time we are going to pay. हम क्या करते हैं? Gradually हम क्या करते हैं? Start करते हैं. धीरे-धीरे हम loan provide देते रहते हैं. Principal amount plus some kind of interest amount. There is an installment. Installment, there are two components here. Interest amount plus principal amount. This is the second option here. एक तो ये option हो सकता है कि annual installment आप pay कर रहे हो over the period of time. Then आपको at the end of the last year आपको एक साथ amount pay नहीं करना होता, क्योंकि आप last few years से आप same amount plus interest plus principal amount आप pay कर रहे हो debt holders को. This is the second option. Now, yes, ask. lump sum एक साथ amount आप pay कर रहे हो basically. एक I mean at the end of the maturity date आप पूरा amount principal amount है वो आप debt holders को repay कर रहे हो. That is the one thing. Okay, done. Lump sum amount of money here. Now by conversion into shares and new debentures, we all know that. Now listen carefully what I'm saying here. Conversion. Now at the end of the maturity period, we all know that when we discuss with you shares, the type of securities in the market, what kind of securities you are going to issue in the market, then there is a point. Let's say there is an equity, and that equity is, let's say there is a debt, and that debt is going to convert it after 5 years down the line. So that is the convertible debentures. Now, let's say after 5 years down the line, you are going to convert into equity. Now, right now you are the debt holders, right now you are the lender, but after at the end of the 5th year, you are going to become the owner of that company. Just by that will be converted into equity. Did you get that point? So ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि आपको at the end of the maturity period repayment नहीं करना है, but at the same time आप क्या कर रहे हो, उसको convert करना है equity के अंदर. So these kind of securities available in the market. Now this is what convertible bonds or convertible debentures की बात कर रहे हैं, right? Now we have seen in 12th class also ये convertible debentures. Now by purchase of his own debenture, it kind of buyback. We have discussed now buyback of shares. Similar kind of thing for the debentures also. Debentures in case here, please listen carefully what I'm saying here. So if let's say maturity period है 5 years, but before that you are going to buy back your debentures from the market, but at the open market, जो भी right now market price of that debt, you are going to buy at that price, and this is what we call it here, purchase of its own debentures in the open market. Open market, that means your debentures are already listed on the stock exchange. Done. And from that open market से आप buy करते हो at current market price. So this is how you are going to redeem your debentures here. Done. Now, so the next slide please here. Redemption. अब देखो मैं कुछ यहाँ पर methods discuss कर रहा हूँ कि there are some methods. This is how we are going to redeem the debentures. अब companies के point of view से बात करते हैं. The first thing is here the capital. देखो यहाँ पर ये practically impossible है. I would say it is academically हम लोग इस topic को discuss करते हैं. I'm saying here redemption of out of capital. Generally companies ऐसा नहीं करते हैं. For academic purpose only, we are not going to do any numerical question on this. Just I will discuss with you some general entries basically. Nothing else. So redemption out of capital, generally companies क्या करते हैं? They are going to create the redemption reserve account. We all know that. You have seen in the balance sheet. Redemption reserve account create करती है company. Out of capital नहीं, ये तो company खुद की capital से कम करे. It means they are not going to take anything from the profit account. वहां से कुछ नहीं कर रहे. So this is a rare case और ये बहुत ही कम होता है practical life में यहाँ पर. So this is from the academics point of view, we are going to discuss this topic only. जो ये topic, which topic I'm talking about here? The redemption out of capital only. Okay. So generally, majority of time we are going to create the redemption reserve account. And that account we are going to use for the redemption of debentures. Or there are options, sinking fund also. एक वो भी करते हैं, investment linked account. So that we are going to use it for the redemption of debentures. We are not going to use here redemption out of capital. That is for the academic purpose only. Did you get my point? Here we are not going to create any reserve account. Here we are not going to take anything from the profit or from the surplus of the company. Did you get my point here? It means we are going to redeem the debenture, but we are not going to use the profit or surplus of the company. Instead of that, what we are using here? Capital portion. Here it will reduce your capital from the company. आपके profit and loss पे या surplus पे कोई impact नहीं करता. Did you get my point here? Okay, now listen this. Where debentures are redeemed out of capital, no debentures redemption reserve is created out of the profits of the company. Done? Now, so it will not reduce your profit. Its profit will remain the same. Here we are not going to create any reserve account. Yes? So now let's move on the next slide, please. Now we will see the general entries. Okay, just for the academic, आप लोग थोड़ा सा go through करते हैं. See here, the first thing is when debentures are redeemed at par. So first, very simple, debentures account and to the debentures holders account जो यहाँ पे credit कर रहे हैं. On redemption, debenture holders account debit हो जाएगा और आपका bank account it will be credited. So that is simple thing for the at par. Now when we talk about debentures we are going to redeem at the premium. So then you can discount. Then debentures account and capital reserve account में से यहाँ पर हम discount लेते हैं. Now here on payment to the debentures, again same entry we are going to repeat here. Done. Now when we talk about the debentures are redeemed at premium, so you will see here debentures account, premium on redemption of debentures account. ये आपको पता क्या होता है exactly? जब आप out of capital करते हो at the end of the maturity payment, this will be write off हो जाता है, automatically आप remove कर देते हो. Either you are going to transfer to the reserves. So this premium, so basically you are going to utilize for the redemption of reserve account here to debentures account. Done. And after that, on payment of the debentures account, same entry we are going to repeat here again and again. See, for the discount, for the par, and here on payment to the debentures account and to the bank account here. Bank account, it is your assets account जो आपका credit हो जाएगा when you are going to reduce this that amount of money from your bank, right? Now, if I'm saying here the next point on write-off of the premium on redemption, as I already told you that this premium we are going to write off securities premium account and free reserve account में transfer कर देते हो to premium on redemption account here. This is the point. Look at this point, please. Discount pay, we are going to use the capital reserve account. You can see that capital reserve account use कर रहे हो जब आप discount पे redeem कर रहे हो, जब आप redeem कर रहे हो premium पे, that point of time जो आपने that we are going to use it from the any free reserve account we can use it here. That बहुत nominal amount होता है, I mean, right? ठीक है? So that amount we can use it from the company, okay, out of the capital apart from that. So this is what the accounting entries for academic purpose only. Please don't do any practical questions on that from the from your syllabus point of view, but please focus on the sinking fund and the capital redemption reserve account only. Done. So just for go through these kind of thing, this kind of thing happen in the, or if there is some kind of numerical question in your books, so you can just go through it. Don't do anything else. Now, okay, next slide please. Okay, so redemption out of profit or surplus. Now let's talk about this. Okay, so please, hi everyone. Look at this side. Redemption out of profit. This is relevant. And generally companies do such kind of thing. And companies are going to make the policy regarding they are going to redeem the debentures either from the surplus or maybe they are going to use it for the sinking fund. So mix of these two things, they are going to use it here. In see, redemption out of profit or surplus here. So when company desires to redeem the debentures, wholly amount of profits will set aside or retain a certain amount of percentage from the out of profit here. Look at this. Certain percentage, maybe 10%, maybe 15%. Each and every year, they are going to set aside amount from their profit for a particular year. Let's say right now, 23-24 financial year hai. So I'm going to keep my 10% of profit from this particular account. Next 24-25, then 25-26. Let's say my right now I'm issuing any kind of debentures. Let's say for 5 years or let's say 10 years. So 10 years down the line, I'm going to keep certain amount of percentage, जो भी 10% or 15%. I will tell you how much percentage profit we need to redeem, जो आपको मैं reserve रखना है. Let's say here, so for the payment of dividend every year over the period of time, redemption used for the redemption debentures when the redeem take place. Did you get that point? Out of profit में और out of capital में difference क्या है? Yes or no? Look at this point here. Brief. अब यहाँ पर देख लो, the retained profit has to be transferred to the debentures redemption reserve account, and that is important. Redemption reserve account, and this account only uses to redeem your debentures only, nothing else. This is what the purpose of redemption and how we are going to make it from the out of profits or out of surpluses. This is what the redemption of debenture reserve account here. Now, if I tell you here, the retained profit has to be transferred to the debenture reserve account, done. And after that, profit retained in debenture reserve account be invested in readily marketable securities. ये हम generally करते हैं. Like if I say, have you seen a cash? You have not read that kind of concept. Cash convertible marketable securities, like let's say there are apart from the cash, let's say demand deposits, let's say there is some kind of you are going to invest in some kind of liquid securities. So whenever you want, you can realize, you can convert into cash. So I'm talking about that kind of securities. Okay. And let's say you are going to buy some kind of blue chip companies ki securities buy karte ho, stock buy karte ho, that will be, you can easily convert into marketable securities, although that is not the type of liquid securities वाला टाइम है. शॉर्ट टर्म सिक्योरिटीज में अगर आप इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हो, लेट्स से आपने एफडी करवाई 5 डेज के लिए और 7 डेज के लिए, राइट. लेट्स से आपने कोई एक डिमांड डिपॉजिट आपने करा, राइट. लेट्स से यू आर गोइंग टू डिपॉजिट इन सम काइंड ऑफ एफडी फॉर 1 डे और 2 डेज के लिए आप किसी को क्रेडिट देते हो, देन नेक्स्ट डे यू विल गेट इट द पेमेंट. सो दैट इज द मार्केटेबल सिक्योरिटीज एंड शॉर्ट टर्म सिक्योरिटीज में आप इन्वेस्ट करते हो. सो दैट इज माई पर्पस हियर. सी, सो आप उस फंड को बैंक और डिपॉजिट एंड इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी टू प्रोवाइड द फंड्स फॉर द रिडम्पशन. आपको पता है इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसीज भी इंश्योरेंस करवाती हैं. सो सेम पॉलिसी यहाँ पे भी रिडम्पशन और रिजर्व अकाउंट के अंदर, इन केस देयर कंपनी इज फेसिंग सम काइंड ऑफ शॉर्टेज ऑफ फंड्स while at the end of the maturity of the debentures, then they are going to take the help of this insurance company here, or from this, or जो भी shortage of fund है, they are going to sell it the marketable securities in the market, and they are going to realize the cash from that, and that cash they are going to repay the debenture holders. So this is how they are going to use the redemption reserve account. Done. Now see क्या हो गया? The company shall take the following steps. The appropriation of profit, that means we are going to certain percentage of the profit from the surplus or from the profit of the company here. Now again वही से मैं यहाँ पर marketable securities के अंदर, next slide please. Okay, कुछ हैं यहाँ पर norms हैं, आपके syllabus में नहीं है, but just go through it and you can just refer it कि exactly होता है क्या. All India financial institution है, then no DRR is required. No DRR, जो आपके redemption reserve account है, no need. Now other financial institution will be applicable to NBFC registered with the RBI. There are separate norms. So done. Now the third category for the listed companies, no DRR is required. Next slide please. Other listed companies, no DRR is required. Other unlisted companies, you can see here, DRR shall be 10% of the value of the outstanding debenture issued. It means only 10%. What about the 90%? Any idea how I'm going to generate 90% funds for the redemption of the debentures? And that is the biggest limitations of the redemption out of the profit, because you are assuring yourself for the 10% only. What about the 90%? 90%. जब आपके redemption date पे या maturity date पे आपके पास fund नहीं होगा, then how you are going to generate that fund? That is the limitations of the redemption reserve account. For that, to overcome this limit, we will see in the coming class, और आज की अभी class में देखेंगे, after few minutes down the line, you will see that we are going to use the sinking fund. That is the improvised version of the DRR account. Yes or no? क्योंकि यहाँ पर आपको just 10% or 15% something you are going to keep the reserves. What about the remaining thing? What about the 90% fund? उसके लिए हम क्या करते हैं? Maturity period पे companies क्या करते हैं? They are sometimes there are a lot of growth opportunities. They are going to invest here and there. So उनके पास जो redemption date के time पर fund नहीं होता. So then they are going to face the problem. So that happens. To avoid such kind of problem, we are going to use the sinking fund. Did you get my point? Chronology समझ आ रही है? Capital में एक different story थी. That is not going to impact on the profit. Then second thing is we are taking the redemption, your debentures. We are going to use the profit. And profit is what? Just 10% something. What about the remaining thing? Remaining के लिए हमारे पास marketable securities में invest करते हैं. That is the expectations from the company. We are going to invest in these kind of securities. As a company, we are going to invest in reserves. We are going to invest in marketable securities. So why we need to do these kind of things? Just because कि at the end of the maturity time पर मैं sell कर दूं securities को और वो fund realize करूं, I will get that fund and I will repay to the debt holders. That is the purpose. Now, but the point is, अगर वो problem आपने investment नहीं की हो, in that case, then for that to overcome such kind of limitations of this DRR, we are going to create the sinking fund. Done. So we will see later on. Next slide please. Accounting treatment देख लेते हैं यहाँ पर DRR वाला, and then I will start the sinking fund here. Okay. Say this. Creation of DRR treatment should focus on the following points. Creation of DRR equivalent to at least 10%. Can you see that? 10% of percentage of value of debentures. Let's say 500 crore. So 10% is 50 crore rupees, something you need to create as a DRR. Now, second slide, setting aside 15% of amount of debentures maturity during the financial year. ये 15% पता है क्या है? Marketable securities के अंदर 10% or 15% कितना हुआ? 25%. What about the remaining 75%? Still you can face some kind of problem. So try to understand that. अब देखो, setting aside 15% of amount of debentures maturing during the financial year, 10% आपने DRR में डाल दिया, remaining 50% आप क्या करते हो? जब रिजर्व कैश अकाउंट में या किसी मार्केटेबल सिक्योरिटीज में आप इन्वेस्टमेंट करते हो, एंड फॉर दैट यू आर गोइंग टू गेट सम काइंड ऑफ लेट्स से 500 करोड़ रुपीस का डिबेंचर से रीपेमेंट है. सो आप 500 करोड़ रुपीस अपने पास रिजर्व रख के क्या करोगे? आर यू गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? 500 crore rupees, it is totally wastage of money. Wastage of money in terms of what? You are losing some kind of money. You are forgone the interest rate on that. You can invest somewhere else and you can get some kind of interest on that amount of money. Yes or no? That's why companies क्या करते हैं? There is a provision कि आप 15% अपना fund किसी marketable securities में रख दो. Did you get my point here? So the point is, on issue of debentures, वही same entries हैं जो आपने last class में भी discuss की होगी मैम ने. You can see that, and then we will start later on. On issue of debenture, bank account to application allotment, and then done. And then you will see here. Let's talk about this. On creation of DRR at the end of the financial year. At the end of the financial year, 31st March here. So surplus account, देखो debit हो गया यहाँ पर. और आपको पता है P&L account, surplus account debit होता है. That means we are going to treat it as expense. Yes or no? Same here to debenture redemption reserve account. Done. Certain amount. Next thing is, however, any financial year the debentures due for the redemption. Any financial 5 years down the line, let's say 5 years down the line, your debenture is going to be redeemed, or maybe due date is coming. So maturity date. So then the following will be made before 31st April at the beginning of the financial year. Redemption investment account आ जाएगा to the bank account. ये जो redemption investment account है इसको बोलते हैं हम यहाँ पर, and that will be to the bank account here. Did you get that point? Now the next slide please. And entry for the creation shall be always met at the end of the accounting period since DRR, क्योंकि हमें report करना होता है financial statements के अंदर. And that point of time we are going to create such kind of DRR account. Okay. Now created out of the profits. Then on redemption, let's see here, realization of investment and interest on investment. ये कौन सी investments की बात कर रहे हैं? जो आप कह रहे थे ना 15% की marketable securities में invest करना है. So I'm talking about that thing. So 15% पे आपको investment sell करनी है, then you will get some kind of interest on that. See, I'm talking about bank account. आपका क्या हो जाएगा? Debit. Because right now you are going to sell at the securities in the market. I'm talking about that. 10% तो reserve हो गया. Apart from that, आपने कोई securities में investment किया हुआ है, short term securities के अंदर. Now you are going to sell it because right now this is the due date. Okay, maturity. So for that, redemption debit, investment account debit to interest on debenture investment account. On debentures account में debit हो जाएगा, और debentures account के holders का account यहाँ पे credit. Now और इसके बाद debentures holders account and बैंक का आपका amount पूरा निकल के आ जाएगा यहाँ पर, and that will be credited from here. So this is what the process for the redemption of debentures if we are going to use DRR account. Debenture resumption reserve account जो बात कर रहे थे यहाँ पर. On closing of DRR account, so अगर कुछ वहाँ पे remaining है, then we are going to transfer into the general reserve. जो यहाँ पर हम बात कर रहे थे, debenture account and all. So transfer DRR to the general reserve on date of the final redemption. Done. Now the next slide, please. Next slide. See this. I have taken this illustration from I think one book hai J.R. Monga or something else. Okay, I have taken this illustration, so please go through it. Now, the Vishnu Prestil has a balance of 4 lakh in surplus account. The company decide to repay 4 lakh and 12% debentures on 31st March at premium of 10%. Done. Okay. जब issue किया था, company decide to repay. Okay, 4 lakh. Debentures interest is payable annually at the end of the financial year. Interest, we all know that debt के अंदर we need to pay at the regular interval. Regular interval, it might be 6 months, it might be 4 months, it might be 12 months. We are assuming that we are paying interest at the end of the financial year. So see, at the end of the financial year here, the accounts are closed. The company has a balance of 2 lakh in debenture resumption account. Say this. Still, we need to utilize 2 lakh rupees from the other sources. Look at that. Okay, and the company makes investment as per rules जो भी यहाँ पर था 1st April of every financial year. The investment carry interest rate is 10%. Wherever we are going to invest this amount of money, we will get the interest of 10% something. ठीक है, जो हम extra funds की बात कर रहे थे. Generally is entries for complying provision act. Can you click this photo and then I will start doing this question here. आप इसकी photo click कर लो and then we will start it. Already solved illustration hai, so I will show you. Shall I move? Okay, next slide please. Next slide. Okay, so first आप redemption investment कर रहे हो. Look at this. First slide, issue वाला नहीं कर रहे हैं यहाँ पर. वो हमने already last class में किया हुआ था. And यहाँ पर issue की नहीं है. Right now we are talking about the redemption. So redemption, you can see the first slide here. And the 10% debenture redemption investment account debit. और ये 15% है. एक बार आप देखना वो जो भी नॉर्म्स बताया था ना कि 15% आपको साइड रखना है इन्वेस्टमेंट का. 15% ऑफ योर आउटस्टैंडिंग डेबेंचर्स 4 लाख 15%. और लास्ट क्वेश्चन में देखो वहां पे लास्ट स्लाइड देखना ना प्लीज. लास्ट स्लाइड से दिस डिसाइड टू रीपे 4 लाख 12% डेबेंचर्स. सो 4 लाख का 15% हम यहां पे कर रहे थे. प्लीज नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. हाँ, सो 4 लाख 15% 60,000 यू आर इन्वेस्टिंग. आपके बैंक अकाउंट में देखो क्रेडिट हो रहा है क्योंकि कम हो रहा है ना आपको. यू नीड टू इन्वेस्ट नाउ. अब यू आर गेटिंग एट द सेम टाइम यू आर जो आपका इंटरेस्ट है वो ड्यू हो रहा है 31st मार्च को. डन. नाउ लुक एट दिस. सो डिबेंचर्स इंटरेस्ट अकाउंट और ये कितना है 4 लाख 12%. दैट इज योर कूपन रेट. 12% कूपन रेट था. 48,000 rupees you have to pay each and every year. So मान लो रिडम्पशन इस साल का भी तो देना ही है ना आप लोगों को. So here I'm talking about 48,000 rupees and done. Now the next slide please. अब देखो वहां पर being interest paid for the 1 year. Look at this point. Debentures holders account debit. Done. और आपका बैंक अकाउंट it will going to reduce. So look at that point. The point is here 48,000 rupees आपके यहाँ पर बैंक अकाउंट से कम हो रहे हैं because you have already paid to the debt holders. Done. Right now I'm talking about the interest that you have to pay at the regular interest interval के टाइम पर. Now जो भी ड्यू डेट है आपकी at the end of the financial year. Now let's talk about this. अब आपको क्या करा, आपने जो इन्वेस्टमेंट की है whatever invested you have 4 lakh का 15% इन्वेस्टमेंट की थी. Now you are going to get the interest on that, and that interest you will get it here. Question में clearly mention है you will get the 10% interest on that. 4 lakh का 10% something that is जो भी यहाँ पर था 60,000 1 year investment that is 60,000 something. जो 60,000 invest किया था 10% interest you are going to get it on that investment and that is your 6,000 rupees. Done. Now so bank account to being realization of debenture redemption at par. So debenture redemption investment account 60,000 ये हो गया. surplus account जो आपके पास already है 2 lakh rupees in your DRR account. 2 lakh rupees आपके पास already है. Now so surplus account, look at this point. 1st March 31st March surplus account debit to debenture redemption reserve account rupees 2 lakh. Now look at this point here please. 12% debentures account था आपको. ये किस पे कर रहे हैं? प्रीमियम पे कर रहे हैं ना. आई थिंक यस क्या? हाँ, प्रीमियम पर. So 40,000 यहाँ पर हो गया. Debentures bank account holder 4,40,000 rupees, and your bank account, it is going to be credited here, and it will be your by 4,40,000 rupees total amount. Now the next thing is statement of profit and loss account में देखोगे आपका debentures interest account वो कितना था 48,000 जो आप एडजस्ट कर रहे हो क्योंकि यू आर पेइंग इंटरेस्ट एंड दैट विल बी कंसिडर्ड एज योर एक्सपेंस. यस और नो? सो इंटरेस्ट आप यहाँ पर देखो वहां पर डेबिट कर रहे हैं. नाउ इंटरेस्ट ऑन डिबेंचर रिडम्पशन इन्वेस्टमेंट अकाउंट ये भी देखो आप यहाँ पर. दिस इज व्हाट, ये आपके लिए इनकम है एंड दैट विल बी स्टेटमेंट ऑफ प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट, इट विल बी क्रेडिटेड हियर. सो दिस 6,000 रुपीज जो है यहाँ पर इट विल बी योर इनकम and we are going to transfer to the profit and loss account. Yes or no? Now here debentures redemption account ये 4 lakh rupees था to general reserve account is 4 lakh and this is how we are going to redeem the debentures here. That is simple thing. वही यहाँ पर है कि just we have to understand that 10% हमें ट्रांसफर करना है टू दी जो भी आपके सरप्लस अकाउंट से हमने इंस्टॉल करा है जो भी करा है. Then 15% we have invested some kind of money. Okay, and for the short term securities and all. Now the next slide please. Okay, next method come. Okay, so move on to the next point please here. Sinking fund method. Okay, look at this point. We all know that we need sufficient funds. We need sufficient funds to redeem the debentures because that is the large amount of money. We have just taken the example of 4 lakh rupees, but right now in actual scenario, you can see that there are 1,000 crore of rupees. So now when we talk about from the practical point of perspective, then you will see that we require lot of money, and that money we have already invested in somewhere else for some kind of capital, financing the capital projects or maybe financing some kind of future projects, and we have already invested in some kind of R&D, already invested in some kind of buying of machineries and all. Now you need this fund at the end of the maturity of the debentures. For that you have to arrange fund. Now for that initial beginning से आपको क्या बनाना है? You need to make some kind of reserves, and that reserve here we call it sinking fund reserves. Okay, so over the period of time, like आपने सुना होगा ना depreciation में हम क्या करते हैं? At one point of time we are going to buy the machinery. Over the period of time we are going to reduce the book value of the asset, and that वो जो reduction जो हर साल book value जो machinery की life decrease हो रही है, that same time we are going to make the reserve, that we call it depreciation जो हम बोलते हैं, एक कर्व बना लेते हैं, and that we are going to use it for the at the end of the machinery life हम उसको expense show करते हैं. Right now same here, यहाँ पर हम जो word use करें, sufficient funds are required to redeem the debentures at the end of the specific period of time. It vary करता है 5 years, 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, whatever. Now see, and invest adequate amount in, look at this, the company may decide to create the sinking fund and invest adequate amount in marketable securities or bonds. And normally a company ensures that an equal amount is set every year to arrange the necessary fund at the time of redemption, and this is called sinking fund here. Done? इसको हम specific account है, it's not DRR. Yes, definitely we are going to use the DRR also, but apart from that we are going to make the sinking fund also, and that fund जो money है वो हम कहीं invest करते हैं, उससे interest invest में क्या मिलेगा? Interest amount मिलेगा, that we are going to transfer into sinking fund, because that is the income जो we are going to use for the redemption of the debentures only. Redemption of debentures only here. Now look at this point. Method according to which the company make necessary arrangements, set aside part of divisional profits every year and say invest the same amount outside the business in the marketable securities. Done? Let's say 10% आप फंड डाल रहे हो, but उस 10% को you are going to invest somewhere else each and every year. So this is what the sinking fund. Next, Slide please. Okay, so methods देख लो, steps देख लो sinking fund का. First thing you need to do here, calculate the amount of profit to be set aside annually with the help of the sinking fund table. Okay, now after that, that amount you are going to, at the end of the year, you will get it from the profit, and then the debenture redemption fund में account में transfer करोगे, credited redemption fund account, redemption यहाँ पे debentures redemption fund account, then purchase the investments equivalent amount of money. Let's say आपने 1 lakh rupees transfer किया है, so you are gonna buy the 1 lakh rupees of marketable securities. Done. And this is what the first year debit debenture redemption fund investment account, redemption fund investment account. And each and every year you are going to use this kind of method here. Received interest at the end of the subsequent year. अभी last slide में भी देखा था हम लोगों ने, but हमने वहां पर है ना ये word use नहीं किया था. I think debenture redemption fund investment. You can see here the purchase the investment equivalent to fixed amount of profit set aside interest and every year except the last year, क्योंकि उस टाइम पे तो हमें पे करना है ना. Okay, so except the last year. Now the set aside a fixed amount of profit for the last year and cash the investment at the end of the year. Redemption means we are going to sell it the securities in the market, and this is how we are going to realize the cash from that securities, and that cash we are going to use it for the redemption of the debentures. This is what all about the sinking fund here. Done. So थोड़ी बहुत general entries हैं, and then we will wind up your class. थोड़े entries देख लेते हैं हम लोग. And next slide please. अच्छा ये भी है, प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट वगैरह में भी ट्रांसफर करना है, एज वी हैव डिस्कस इन दी प्रीवियस स्लाइड. जो हमने डिस्कस किया था रिडम्पशन रिजर्व अकाउंट में डिस्कस किया था, वही सेम थिंग हियर. अकाउंट टू द रिडम्पशन फंड अकाउंट टू मेक द पेमेंट ऑफ डिबेंचर्स अकाउंट हियर, एंड जो जनरल एंट्रीज में जनरल फंड्स में ट्रांसफर कर देंगे यहाँ पर. दिस इज व्हाट वी हैव सीन इन द प्रीवियस टॉपिक आल्सो. नाउ द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज. ओके, अकाउंटिंग ट्रीटमेंट. This slides I have taken it from the NCERT book. आपकी I think 12th class में आप लोगों ने definitely read किया होगा ये. Just look at that. Say this. Sinking fund method is used for the redemption debentures by payment of lump sum on the maturity date of the debentures. Here. Now look at this. At the end of the first year, आप क्या करते हो? Certain amount of profit you are going to invest somewhere. Now look at this statement of profit and loss account. आप उसमें से profit क्या करते हो? Certain amount of your profit you are going to set aside. That means आपका profit and loss account कम हो जाएगा उस amount से. You can look at this first point please. Can you see that? Okay. Now and invest. अब क्या करना exactly? Now same amount you are going to invest somewhere else. Invest somewhere else, it means my point is invest in marketable securities. Marketable securities, short term securities here, liquid securities के अंदर जब चाहो आप इन कैश कर सकते हो उसको. Now here, so your redemption fund account debit हो जाएगा और बैंक अकाउंट उस अमाउंट से कम हो जाएगा. Is there any doubt up to this point? बहुत सिंपल सा पॉइंट था यहाँ पर सिंकिंग फंड का. फर्स्ट आपने प्रॉफिट लॉस अकाउंट में से एक प्रॉफिट परसेंटेज निकाला, and that percentage you are going to invest in marketable securities, and that technically accounting language में इसको हम क्या बोलते हैं exactly? That debentures redemption fund investment account, and it will be और आपका बैंक अकाउंट उस अमाउंट से कम हो जाए, because right now you have to pay from your pocket, क्योंकि right now you are investing ना. If you want to get the interest on that amount, and then for that you have to pay some kind of payment initially, you have to invest. So you have to pay from your pocket. So यहाँ पर बैंक अकाउंट कम हो रहा है. Now at the end of the second year, same process. Let's say here, redemption fund investment account, बैंक अकाउंट में अब आपको क्या मिल रहा है? इंटरेस्ट मिल रहा है. नेक्स्ट ईयर अब ये पूरे साल तक इंटरेस्ट आपको नेक्स्ट ईयर मिलेगा. यहाँ पर you will see that बैंक अकाउंट डेबिट हो जाएगा, interest on debenture redemption account and fund account here. Now the second thing is transfer of interest in redemption fund investment to debenture redemption fund account. सेम प्रोसेस भी जो हमने अभी डिस्कस किया था वहां पर आउट ऑफ द प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट. सेम प्रोसेस वी आर फॉलोइंग हियर. अगेन वी विल डू दैट. रिडम्पशन फॉर इंटरेस्ट ऑन डीआरएफआई टू बैंक अकाउंट में ट्रांसफर कर देंगे. सेम अगेन फिक्स अमाउंट. look at the C or D point. C and D point. Look at this. For the second year, again we are going to keep certain amount of profit from your second year profit. वहां से भी हम ले रहे हैं, प्रॉफिट ट्रांसफर कर रहे हैं इन डिबेंचर रिडम्पशन फंड अकाउंट, एंड दैट फंड वी आर गोइंग टू यूज इट फॉर द इन्वेस्टमेंट. डिड यू गेट दैट पॉइंट? सेम फॉर द लेट्स से 5 years तक है, यही प्रोसेस आप फॉलो करोगे नेक्स्ट 4 years तक. 1, 2, 3 and 4 एट लास्ट ईयर में नहीं करना है क्योंकि यू नीड टू रिडीम दैट डिबेंचर्स. नाउ सो हियर नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज. एट द एंड ऑफ द लास्ट ईयर, मैं यहाँ पर थर्ड ईयर फोर्थ ईयर की बात ही नहीं कर रहा, सेम प्रोसेस फॉलो करना है. लेट्स से अब हमें थर्ड ईयर के अंदर इसको मैच्योर पीरियड है, यहाँ पर टाइम आ गया. लेट्स से यहाँ पर रिसिप्ट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट, बिकॉज आपने फर्स्ट ईयर और सेकंड ईयर में इन्वेस्टमेंट की थी, सो नाउ यू विल गेट सम काइंड ऑफ इंटरेस्ट अमाउंट ऑन दैट. नाउ दैट इज योर इनकम. सो लेट्स सी हियर, बैंक अकाउंट, इंटरेस्ट ऑन रिडम्पशन अकाउंट, ट्रांसफर ऑफ इंटरेस्ट ऑन रिडम्पशन अकाउंट में ट्रांसफर करोगे, सेम प्रोसेस अगेन इन कैश करोगे. नाउ से दिस, अगर ये ट्रांसफर ऑफ प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस, रियलाइजेशन ऑफ रिडम्पशन, फंड इन्वेस्टमेंट, इन केस ऑफ फंड देन प्रॉफिट वाला है एंड देन देयर इज अ लॉस. सो दिस इज व्हाट वी नीड टू डू द एंट्रीज हियर. ओके, एक बार गो थ्रू कर लो प्लीज. You have already seen such kind of entries in your 12th class. Now, next slide. Okay, अब जो फाइनल है रिडीम कर रहे हैं. राइट नाउ वी आर गोना पे सम काइंड ऑफ मनी टू द debentures. That is now debentures account and on the due date for the payment वही बैंक अकाउंट को क्रेडिट कर देंगे and transfer the debentures fund account balance to the general reserve. Same process. वही irrespective of method we are following for the redemption of debentures. Either we are using out of capital, either we are using surplus amount, either we are using sinking fund. So the process will follow same process hai we need to use here. Now, so this is what from my side for your today's class. Thank you so much and take care. So stop kar do.